Moving to a new city can be overwhelming. I have tons of videos on my channel about why you should move to Lethbridge, but this video is going to be a little bit different and arguably one of the most important to watch. I'm going to be breaking down our city's unique layout, the best neighborhoods, some major roads that you need to know, as well as a few other tips. Whether you're new to town or looking to move here, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. All right, first, let's just look at the map of Canada. Hopefully you already know this, but Lethbridge is located right about here, and Canada is huge. It's about 3,000 kilometers over to Toronto and about 1,000 over to Vancouver. But let's look at Alberta because these are some day trips that are actually possible that you might want to take. So it's about 4 hours to Edmonton, 3 hours to Red Deer, 2 hours to Calgary, which is our largest international airport or closest international airport, and about an hour and a half to Medicine Hat and about an hour and a half to the US border. And for any day trips, if you want to make a trip to the Rocky Mountains, it's about an hour and a half over here to the Rocky Mountains to the Crow's Nest Pass and about an hour and a half down here to Waterton Lakes National Park. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details of Lethbridge. We've got 3 highways that cut through Lethbridge: Highway 3, Highway 4, and Highway 5. Highway 3 cuts east-west through Lethbridge. If you keep going that way, you'll eventually make it to Coaldale, which is about a 10-minute drive. It's our largest close town. And if you continue, you'll eventually make it to Saskatchewan. Going back this way is how you get to the Crow's Nest Pass. And if you keep going, eventually British Columbia. And this is the highway that you'll take to get to Calgary if you turn off at Fort Macleod. Highway 4 goes south of town and eventually makes it to the US border, and more specifically, the Coots border crossing. And Highway 5 goes down south past our airport and will eventually take you to Waterton, as well as some smaller towns that are south of Lethbridge. All right, one of the first things that you need to know about Lethbridge is that there are 3 sides of the city. There's the west side, the south side, and the north side. How do you determine which side of town you're on? Well, for the west side, it's pretty easy. It's anything that's west of the Old Man River that snakes through town here. So anything over here is considered the west side. The north and the south side are divided by Highway 3, and anything north of Highway 3 is the north side, and anything south of Highway 3 is the south side. All right, so where is downtown Lethbridge? You think maybe it would be here if you've never been to Lethbridge, but it's actually located over here. So let's take a closer look at that. Downtown would be anything that is south of Highway 3, going over to Stafford Drive, down to 6th Avenue here, and it all borders the coulees over here. So anything in this area would be considered downtown. Our downtown is a little bit different than other big metropolitan cities like Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, because there's not actually a lot of people that live downtown. There are a few apartment buildings, but it's mostly comprised of small and large businesses with a park near the center. There's also a couple hotels located over here, as well as government buildings and all the major banks. And then our largest mall would be located right up here with over 100 shops for any of your shopping needs. Unlike some opinions that you might find on the internet, downtown is actually pretty cute. There's street art, there's lots of different cafes, bars, restaurants, boutique shops. There's even a comedy club and an art center and so much more. So definitely check out downtown if you are coming to Lethbridge. So downtown Lethbridge is technically part of South Lethbridge because it is south of Highway 3. So let's take a look at the rest of South Lethbridge. To understand the layout of the city, a good rule of thumb is that the farther away from downtown that you get, the newer the homes become. So the oldest part of Lethbridge is on the grid system, with homes in here dating from the 1890s at the oldest, and homes over here dating around the 1950s. The streets are generally lined with big mature trees because they've had the longest time to grow. As you get further south, it strays away from the grid system into a more suburban style system with cul-de-sacs, and these homes were built in probably around the 1960s and onwards. And then moving to the outskirts of the city, this is where homes are still being built today. You can find brand new move-in ready homes in Southbrook over here. Also, there are some available in 6 Mile in this area. And then for the most prestigious, the highest class homes in Lethbridge, I'm talking $1 million plus homes with coulee views, you can find them over here in Southridge or Prairie Arbor that's located right here. People always ask me, where are the best neighborhoods in Lethbridge? And honestly, it depends what you're looking for. There are great spots in every neighborhood. If you're looking for an older character home, you're going to be pretty much limited to London Road or Victoria Park area. Houses in this neighborhood do tend to be smaller in size as well, so that's something to consider. I actually have a neighborhood tour of London Road on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, there's a link up here and in the description. If you're looking for a mid-century bungalow, you're probably looking around in this area in Ignis, Davidson, and then Lakeview and Redwood over here. There are also some awesome custom-built 80s homes in Tudor Estates that's right here next to the Lethbridge Polytechnic College. Over here in Southgate, we have some more modern two-story homes that are super close to all the amenities the South Side has to offer. Now I'll quickly go over some major roads that you should definitely know. First would be Mayor McGrath Drive. It actually is a continuation of Highway 5, but no one refers to it as Highway 5. It's just Mayor McGrath. And there's tons of businesses all along the entire length of it. And then over here, we have Scenic Drive South. It's long and windy, but there's not a whole lot of traffic lights on it. Unlike Mayor McGrath Drive, there's traffic lights pretty much every block on Mayor McGrath Drive. So Scenic Drive might look like the longer one, but it might actually be quicker to get where you're going. And then 13th Street South is a major artery that runs north-south through the city. 3rd, 6th, 10th, 16th Avenue, which are major arteries that run east and west. Finally, we have 24th Avenue here, which leads to 43rd Street, which is kind of like a ring road in Lethbridge, but we don't actually have a ring road in Lethbridge. Lastly, let's explore some major amenities that you have in Lethbridge. Here you'd have Indian Battle Park, which is one of our largest parks in the city. It's in the river bottom, and here you can walk underneath the iconic high-level bridge. Nearby is Lethbridge's hospital called the Chinook Regional Hospital, located right here. The south side features 3 golf courses. So we have the Lethbridge Country Club here, Evergreen Golf Center here, and then the Henderson Lake Golf Club right here. Speaking of Henderson, it's not just a golf club. There is a large lake here that's open to the public that you can walk around. And right beside Henderson is Nikayuko Japanese Gardens. The exhibition grounds is right here, and that's where they host Whoop Up Days in the summer. The visitlethbridge.com arena is right here. It's our city's main sports arena. That's where the Lethbridge Hurricanes would play. They've hosted stars in the past, such as Taylor Swift, Elton John, and one of my favorite bands, Great Big Sea. And I've already mentioned it, Lethbridge Polytechnic or Lethbridge College is right here on the Coolies. Fun fact, my grandpa was actually the one that started the trades program at the college when he was a professor there back in 1964. And then finally, this area here is a huge shopping center. This is where you'll find Costco, along with almost every store that you could think of. And that's one of the reasons why South Lethbridge, the homes tend to be more expensive. All right, on to the north side. North Lethbridge is Lethbridge's powerhouse, with nearly half of the land taken up for industrial sectors. Just like South Lethbridge, the farther you get away from downtown, the newer the homes tend to be. As for what types of homes you can expect on the north side, Westminster is located right about here, and homes in this area are around 100 years old. Majestic Place is located here, and in this area, homes are in the 60s, 70s, so that's where you'll find the mid-century bungalows. Moving up, we have Park Meadows. These homes are about 70s to 80s, and then we have Uplands right here, and these homes were started building in the 90s to the mid-2000s. And then finally, if you're looking for a new build, we have Legacy Ridge up here and Black Wolf here, where homes are still being built today. So no matter what your style or budget is, the north side could have something for you. As for the major roads, again, we have Scenic Drive that continues all the way up here, and then we have 43rd Street that continues up here with 26th Avenue North connecting the two. Another major one would be 5th Avenue North and 9th Avenue North that go all the way from east to west. We also have 28th Street that cuts all the way through the north. It connects to 5th Avenue and then to Mayor McGrath Drive. And then again, there's also 13th Street, and here would be Stafford Drive that takes you to downtown. And then in terms of amenities, we have Pavan Park located up here on the northernmost part of the city's boundaries. And it's the only park in Lethbridge that still allows horseback riding, so make sure to watch your step. The largest park on the north side is the 73-acre Legacy Park that's located right here. It has a couple amazing facilities. There's multiple playgrounds. There's a spray park in the summer for the little ones. There's a skate park. There's baseball diamonds. There's basketball courts, pickleball courts, a couple different lakes, multiple walking paths. It really does have it all, but it is the newest park as well, so the trees aren't quite as mature as you'd find in Henderson. For shopping, there are a couple grocery stores up here. We've got Walmart Supercenter and a couple other shops right in this area. And then down here, closer to downtown, there is Center Village Mall. There's also a lot of shops and services all along 13th Street North from here to here. Finally, let's hop across the river and take a look at the west side. The west side of Lethbridge is the newest, and it is the largest in terms of population for any of the sides of Lethbridge. Immediately looking at the map, you can notice one thing: it's not like North or South Lethbridge, as there are no roads that run north and south or east and west, so there's no grid system over here. And with no grid system means no character homes. The first homes that they started building on the west side are built in the 1970s, and you can find them here and here. How the west side was developed is it all kind of started at the university, so Varsity Village and Indian Battle Heights were the first neighborhoods, and then it kind of spread out from there. Indian Battle Heights has homes that were built in the 70s over here and in the mid 2000s over here, so there is quite a range of homes in this area. All around Nicholas Sharon Park, there are a bunch of custom-built homes that either face the park or back onto the park. Over here in Ridgewood, you'll find homes that were built in the 80s. Heritage, just above it, is from the 90s to the 2000s. Paradise Canyon, way over here, also has homes that were built in the 90s to 2000s. And it's the only neighborhood in Lethbridge that's actually in the river bottom. As for brand new move-in ready homes, there are several neighborhoods where they're still building. So starting off at the top, we've got Country Meadows, Gary Station, The Crossings, Copperwood, Sunridge, Riverstone, and finally the canyons over here. Now, it might seem like some of these newer neighborhoods are on the outskirts of town. Well, because they are, but eventually West Lethbridge is going to fill up this entire bend of the river. So these homes in Copperwood here are eventually going to be pretty close to the center of West Lethbridge. Although do take that with a grain of salt. It did take 50 years for this much development to be done, but Lethbridge is growing at a faster rate than we've ever seen before. So maybe 40 or 50 more years to fill in the rest. As for major roads, the first one you need to know would be Whoop Up Drive, goes all the way down to here, connects to 6th Avenue on the south side, as well as Scenic Drive in downtown. This part of Whoop Up Drive, where the bridge is actually the only road in Lethbridge, and one of the only roads that I know of that has a variable speed limit. So in the summer, it's always at 90 kilometers, but in the winter, if there's snow on the ground or ice, they might drop the speed limit down to 60. So the signs are LED signs, and they change depending on what the weather is. And then we have University Drive that runs pretty much down the entire length of the west side, right past the University of Lethbridge. There's also Métis Trail, which is a newer road that runs pretty much parallel to University. Bridge Drive, which takes you to Highway 3, and that's another way to get to South or North Lethbridge. As for amenities on the west side, we have the YMCA, which is actually North America's third largest YMCA. It's got a wave pool, 2 water slides, a huge gym, indoor running track. And then the University of Lethbridge is located over here on the Coolies. Kind of in the center is Nicholas Sharon Park, which is the west side's largest park with walking trails, a playground, and an 18-hole disc golf course. There's also a couple grocery stores and shopping services, so you've got one located here, and one over here. Recently, they also announced that they're going to be starting construction on a Mormon temple very soon, and it's going to be located right here. The west side also has a golf course. It's located up here near Highway 3, as well as Elizabeth Hall wetlands, and there's a little lake in here where you'll see hundreds of turtles in the summer. If you do live in West Lethbridge, chances are you'll be making a daily commute to South or North Lethbridge, depending on where you work. There's just more businesses in North and South Lethbridge, but if the roads are clear, it only takes you about 15 minutes to get all the way down to Costco, so it's really not that bad. So there you have it. That is Lethbridge Explained. There's so much more that I want to talk about in this video, but I don't want it to be an hour long. I will be making more videos in the future, so make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.